Let's say you and your team do some work, and it's really good work, and you felt a lot of camaraderie while you did it. And let's say you bead for those people that you were leading what you would like somebody to be for you, but there's nobody being that for you, but you don't sulk over it. Instead, you be that for them. You compliment them, you stroke them, you appreciate them. Even though it's not coming from higher up, it starts with you. And so your team feels good about their work, even though you don't let on to them that nobody upstream is appreciating them. You just appreciate them so much that they don't care that nobody upstream is appreciating them. Until all around you are people who are being appreciated, they're feeling good. If anybody says something negative about your team, you never relay it. In other words, you are never the bearer of bad news. You only synthesize and edit everything that comes to you, and you only deliver it to those people that are listening to you in the way that you know will uplift them most. So yes, they're not being told the whole picture. They get a very skewed picture of how things go, but they're happier in their work. They're producing more in their work. They're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. They're feeling better in their work. You get it? And then suddenly your world becomes all about that. You don't worry about what's upstream either. In other words, you can turn the world around where you are, or you can use it as a catalyst to help you identify that you'd want something else, and use your visualization to take you someplace else. In other words, it's like any relationship. You can transform the one you've got to something that feels better, or you can go to another one, but before you can do either of those things, you have to get into a happy place. And it usually means you have to use your imagination. We talked about this earlier when we said almost everybody offers almost all of their vibration in response to what they are observing. And that's why you keep wanting the world to do something that it can't do for you. You keep wanting the world to be better so that you can look at what it is and like what you see. It's a very conditional love that almost all of you are living. When I see that, I feel good, and when I see that, I feel bad, so everything needs to be more like that. Well, if it were more like that, you'd feel better. But it's not going to be more like that. You've got to decide how to feel better and let it be how it is. Unconditional love says, I want so much to feel good that I'm going to find a way of feeling good in the middle of wherever I am. I'm not going to let anything, no matter how small or big it may seem, be my excuse for not allowing source energy to flow. And for some like you, it is so much more important that source energy flow that you can hardly stand it when it doesn't. And the resentment runs pretty deep. You reach the point that you just expect everything to respond to you. And in time it will, once you make that jump. The universe does revolve around you. It really, 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 really does. It's giving you exactly what you are feeling around. So what you're wanting to say when you're in a toxic environment is, oh, I don't know really how I got here, but I know what's holding me here. I'm observing it, I'm offering a vibration about it, and so it can't change as long as I feel like this, nor can I get to a better feeling place. So I'm just going to make the best of where I am, because there are aspects that are suiting me. And as I make the best of where I am, and I make the world around me the best it can be by offering thanks to everyone and appreciation to everyone, you could play a game. How many people are you currently supervising?
6.
If you will go home today, take a notebook, and write each of their names at the top of a different page. So you have 6 pieces of paper. And write for a minute or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 on each of them about their abilities and the things that you most appreciate about them. Not making it up and not saying something that isn't true, but just writing down those things that you appreciate. And it gets easier and easier. Start with the easiest one, the one that it's really easy to appreciate. And then write on the second and the third. And then if you feel like ideas for the first one will come again in the second. In other words, you can keep working on it. Make it a working book that you go back to for a few days, where you just write the things that you appreciate most about them. It's easy to do because you feel appreciation for most of them. Watch how, and don't tell them that you're doing it, watch how they begin feeling better about their work just because of the energy work that you are doing. You'll see a noticeable difference. Then, set that notebook aside, start a new notebook, and put the name of 6 influential people that are upstream from you. And then play the same game. Be harder that way than it was that way. But as you write just one or two things about each of them, watch your environment begin to shift. And those that are in your face the most, make special pages for them and watch the way they begin to respond to your vibration. One who is connected to the stream is more powerful than a million who aren't. So when you get connected, and it'll be easier for you to connect as you are talking about those that are working with you, as you get connected and start feeling a little bit of appreciation and control about your own work environment, then from that state of your place, you begin to talk about the others. You will be amazed at how the universal forces come into alignment. Ideas will come to them. Offhanded compliments will begin to float down. Things that you have never heard coming from any of them will begin to come. Your team will shine in a way that it has not before. You can control your ship even on raging seas when you connect to source energy first. But if you're not connected to source energy, you're like a cork bobbing around all over the place, and it seems that the sea controls everything. It doesn't.
Thank you.
Indeed. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is wonderful to come together with those intense beings like you, who are coming more and 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 more in every day to understand that you are the creator of your own experience. If you could be more selfishly motivated and let the way that you feel inside guide your thoughts, words, and actions, you would have a much easier way as you're moving through all of this. I want to remind you that you don't ever get this done. We are eternal beings, and we are joyful in that prospect. And you cannot get it wrong. In other words, even though others around you disagree with your motives or your actions or even your outcomes, the non-physical energy that is within you, the non-physical energy that you may call God, does not disagree with where you are. You are standing in places of perfection, even though they are not places of completion. Can you get that? You are standing in places of perfection, even though you are not standing in places of completion. And when you get that, you're standing here in this place where there are things that you want that have not yet come, and yet still it is a perfect place. What happens to you is you begin to feel more satisfaction. And when you feel satisfaction where you stand, then there are no limits to where you are going. While when you feel dissatisfaction where you stand, that which you want can't come, not right now anyway. There is great love here for you. We are complete.